This is one of the oldest sea legends told in Himalayan monasteries. The storm hits without warning. One moment, the merchant ship cuts through calm waters off the coast of ancient India. The next, waves tower 3 times higher than the mast. The crew scrambles, ropes snap, the rudder breaks. Water pours into the hull faster than they can bail it out. The captain knows they're going to die. Then, someone hears it. A voice, female, cutting through the wind and rain like a blade through silk.
Move! Now!
The sailors don't question it. They lunge for the one lifeboat they have left. The moment the last man climbs in, the ship splits in half and sinks. Above them, hovering just over the waves, a figure bathed in green light, 1 foot forward, right hand raised, eyes locked on theirs. She doesn't smile, she doesn't speak again. She just holds them there, suspended between the storm and the deep, until dawn breaks and a fishing boat finds them. Hello, it's Matt. Welcome to Buddha's Wisdom. And today we're talking about Tara, the Buddhist goddess who doesn't wait for you to finish praying before she saves your life. Now, strictly speaking, in Tibetan Buddhism, she's seen as a fully enlightened Buddha, not a goddess in the Greek mythology sense. But goddess captures how people actually experience her: fast, fierce, and protective. This is her story. Trust me, it's nothing like what you think Buddhism is supposed to be. Let's go back to the beginning. Long before Tara became the most invoked deity in Tibetan Buddhism, long before monks carried her image into battle and mothers whispered her name over sick children, she didn't exist. But Avalokiteshvara did. If you watched our video on the 3 schools of Buddhism, you know Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of compassion in the Mahayana tradition, the one who hears the cries of the world, the being who vowed to save every sentient creature from suffering before accepting his own enlightenment. And he took that vow seriously, too seriously. Picture this. Avalokiteshvara sits in meditation, eyes open, watching, listening. Every scream from every hell realm, every sob from every mother burying a child, every silent prayer from every prisoner rotting in a cell, every single one. He hears them all, simultaneously, forever, and he realizes something that breaks him. He's one being, and suffering is infinite. No matter how hard he works, no matter how many lifetimes he dedicates to this, there will always be more pain, more fear, more death, more beings drowning in the ocean of samsara while he frantically tries to bail them out, 1 cup at a time. Later, Vajrayana texts say he wept, rivers of tears, oceans of grief pouring from the eyes of a being who loved the world so much it destroyed him. And from one of those tears, Tara was born. She emerges fully formed, standing, alive, 1 foot already stepping forward. She looks at Avalokiteshvara, at the suffering he's witnessing, and understands instantly what needs to happen. She doesn't see women and men. She sees beings drowning. That's it. If you've ever had a moment where you stop seeing men versus women, left versus right, us versus them, and you just see pain, you already get what she's pointing at. But then the monks see her. Female, beautiful, powerful, and they offer her what they think is the highest compliment possible. Pray for rebirth as a man, they tell her, so you can become a Buddha. One famous Tara text has her reply something like this: Here, there is no man, there is no woman, no self, no person, and no consciousness. Calling this world male or female has no ultimate meaning. Yet fools remain deluded by these empty designations. Read that again. Gender is empty. Enlightenment doesn't have a sex. And she refuses to play by rules that were made up by people who didn't understand emptiness in the first place. Then she makes her vow. There are many who desire enlightenment in a man's body, but none who work for the benefit of sentient beings in the body of a woman. Therefore, until samsara is emptied, I shall work for the benefit of sentient beings in a female form. She's declaring that she will stay female, specifically because nobody else will. Because the work of salvation needs a woman's face, a woman's voice, a woman's hands. Avalokiteshvara stops weeping because he realizes he's not alone anymore. She doesn't just share his compassion, she matches it with something he never quite mastered: speed. Tara won't wait for you to purify your karma, or memorize the right mantras, or prove you're worthy. She acts. The texts describe her as having 21 forms, not because she's indecisive, but because one version of herself isn't enough to save everyone who needs saving. Green Tara, white Tara, red, yellow, blue, black. Each one a different face of protection, a different answer to a different kind of danger. There are full liturgies that go into all 21, but for this video, I want to give you the ones you'll actually remember when life hits hard. Listen to this story. One later legend tells of a merchant caravan crossing the Taklamakan Desert. 10 men, 30 camels, 3 weeks of dried meat and water. On the 7th day, bandits, the kind who kill first and loot second because corpses don't fight back. The merchants have no weapons, no guards, no chance, and no time to pray. But the caravan leader, he's heard of Tara. He doesn't know the full liturgy. He doesn't know the visualizations. He doesn't even know which of her 21 forms he's supposed to call. He just screams her name. Tara! One word, half prayer, half terror, and she appears. The accounts say she manifested physically between the merchants and the bandits. Green skin, 1 foot forward. Right hand raised in the gesture of fearlessness. Left hand holding a blue lotus. Notice her posture. Right foot extended forward, ready to leap. Not sitting in full lotus like Buddha, not contemplating her next move. Already mid-action. That's the whole point. The bandits see her. Their horses rear. Their leader drops his sword and runs. The entire group scatters like leaves in a hurricane. The caravan leader later describes her face in stories passed down through the tradition. Focused, intense, like a warrior who's done this 1,000 times and will do it 1,000 more. No serene smile, no explanation, no waiting for gratitude. She vanishes, and the caravan makes it to Lhasa with every man alive. Green Tara, immediate protection, instant action, the form that moves faster than fear itself. White Tara, she has 7 eyes, 2 in her face, 1 in her forehead, 1 in each palm, 1 in each sole of her feet. Why? Because she watches over every being in every direction at once. She grants longevity, healing, peace. Red Tara magnetizes, brings power, draws what you need toward you, whether resources, relationships, or inner strength. Yellow Tara increases wealth, not just material, but spiritual richness. And the fierce forms? Blue Tara, Black Tara. You invoke these when compassion alone won't cut it, when the demons aren't metaphorical, when protection requires force. If you want to go full nerd on this, look up a text called The Praises to the 21 Taras. Monks have been chanting it for centuries before exams, journeys, absolute disasters. One verse goes, "Homage to Tara, swift and fearless, whose eyes flash like lightning, born from the blooming lotus face of the protector of the 3 worlds." That's how they've been invoking her for 1,000 years. Now, if you watched our video on Buddha versus Mara, you know about the 3 daughters Mara sent to tempt Buddha under the Bodhi tree. Craving, aversion, delusion. In some modern retellings, people imagine Tara facing those same daughters, not as temptations, but as enemies to be transformed. Buddha sat still and won through equanimity. Tara moved fast and conquered through overwhelming compassion. Two paths, same goal. But one doesn't ask for your patience. So what makes Tara unique? Buddhism has Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, Vajrapani, powerful male bodhisattvas who also protect and save beings. Why does she matter? 4 reasons. First, she chose to stay female, permanently, defiantly. Compare that to Kuan Yin, who in Chinese Buddhism is often depicted as female, but in earlier Indian forms was male. Kuan Yin's gender is fluid. Tara's is fixed, and that matters, because it means little girls in Tibet and Nepal and Mongolia grow up seeing a female face of enlightenment, not a consort, not a supporter, a goddess who outpaces the Buddha himself. Second, they call her the mother of all Buddhas, not because she literally gave birth to them, but because she gives birth to the wisdom that creates Buddhas. Active compassion, generating enlightenment. She doesn't just protect beings on their path, she creates the conditions for awakening itself. Third, she's accessible. You don't need tantric initiation to call on her. You don't need a teacher's permission. You don't need to spend years mastering visualizations or learning Sanskrit. You just need her mantra. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. 6 syllables. Anyone can say them. Monks in monasteries chant them. Grandmothers in villages whisper them. Soldiers marching into battle scream them. What do they mean? This is Sanskrit, not Pali like the Buddha's earliest teachings, because Tara emerges from Mahayana Buddhism and becomes most developed in Vajrayana, especially in Tibetan schools like Gelug and Kagyu, where sound itself carries power. Om, the universal vibration, the sound of all reality. Tare, liberating from samsara, freeing from the cycle of suffering. Tutare, protecting from the 8 fears. We'll get to those. Ture, granting all positive qualities. Health, wisdom, compassion, power. Soha, may this take root. Make it so. Say that 6 times right now. Yes, I'm serious. If you're on the bus, whisper it. If you're at home, go full monk. Feel that? The rhythm? It bypasses your thinking mind and goes straight to the part of you that's drowning. Fourth, and this is the big one, later texts praise her as the one who arrives before the prayer is even finished. Buddha teaches you to save yourself through your own effort. Tara saves you while you're still figuring out what to ask for. If you've seen our video on why Buddhism accepts other religions, you know Buddhism rarely claims exclusive truth. But Tara takes that openness further. She responds to anyone who calls, Buddhist or not. Tibetan monks carry her image into battle, not Buddha's, not Avalokiteshvara's. Hers. Because when arrows are flying and swords are swinging, you don't have time to meditate on emptiness. You need someone who moves faster than death, and Tara does. And here's proof that she keeps her promises. 11th century. Buddhism is dying in Tibet. Political chaos, religious persecution, monasteries burning, lineages broken. The teachings that had flourished for 200 years are disappearing faster than scribes can copy them. The Tibetan kings send a desperate plea to India.
Send us Atisha.
Atisha Dipankara, one of the greatest Buddhist masters alive, abbot of Vikramashila Monastery, scholar, meditation master, the man who could rebuild Tibetan Buddhism from the ground up. There's just one problem. Atisha doesn't want to go. The journey is 3,000 miles through bandit-infested mountains. The political situation is a death trap, and he's already in his 60s, ancient by medieval standards. He's more useful alive in India than dead in Tibet, so he refuses. The Tibetan delegation begs. He refuses again. Then, he meditates. And according to Tibetan biographies, Tara appears. The accounts say she manifested in his room, physically, sitting in front of him. She speaks. If you go to Tibet, you will shorten your life by 20 years. Atisha nods. He knew that. But if you go to Tibet, you will benefit countless beings and secure the Buddha's teachings for 1,000 years. Atisha starts to protest, to explain why staying in India is the logical choice. She cuts him off. I will protect you every step of the way. And then she does something that changes his mind forever. She smiles, the way a warrior smiles before a battle she knows she's going to win. Atisha packs his bags that night. He has no idea that almost everything he's afraid of is about to happen, and that Tara is going to drag him through it anyway. The journey takes 8 months, and according to tradition, every single horror he predicted comes true. Bandits attack the caravan outside Kathmandu. Legend says Tara appears as a green light that blinds the attackers' horses. They scatter. An avalanche blocks the pass through the Himalayas. The entire group is trapped with 3 days of food left. Atisha meditates. One account tells of Tara speaking to him. Turn left at the next fork. They do. They find a hidden trail. A fever sweeps through the camp. Half the delegation falls sick. Atisha chants Tara's mantra for 3 days straight without sleeping. The fever breaks. He arrives in Lhasa alive, and he spends the next 17 years rebuilding Tibetan Buddhism, translating texts, training teachers, establishing monasteries, creating the Kadam school that eventually becomes the Gelug lineage, the Dalai Lama's tradition. All because Tara promised to protect him and kept her promise. When Atisha dies in his early 70s, about 20 years earlier than Indian astrologers had once predicted, his disciples later wrote that he died with no regrets, that Tara had guided everything. After that, Tara explodes across Tibet. She becomes more popular than Avalokiteshvara in some regions, more invoked than Buddha himself in certain villages. Every monastery has her statue. Every family has her tanka painting. And she doesn't stop at Tibet's borders. Mongolia embraces her as Dara-Ik, Mother Tara. Nepal makes her a national protector deity. Bhutan builds ancient temples in her honor. She spreads across the Himalayas and beyond like someone who doesn't wait for permission. Why? Because people know she shows up when you call. All right, let's get practical. Because Tara isn't just ancient mythology, millions of people invoke her right now. Today, facing real danger. The texts describe 8 specific fears she protects against. Lions, elephants, fire, snakes, thieves, imprisonment, floods, demons. Sounds medieval, right? Like something that only mattered when people actually encountered wild animals and highway robbers. Except, on one level they're very literal, but on another, they're psychological archetypes, forces that are more relevant now than ever. Different lists group them slightly differently, but the classic set is 8 fears. If we went through all of them in detail, this video would be 3 hours long, so let me pull a few of them into the light. The ones that hit hardest. Lions represent pride, the ego that roars at everyone around you, the part of you that needs to dominate every conversation, win every argument, prove you're superior. You know that feeling, when someone criticizes you at work and your entire nervous system goes into attack mode. When you can't let go of being right. When losing face feels like death itself. The lion doesn't kill you quickly. It mauls your relationships one argument at a time. Elephants represent ignorance, willful blindness, the kind where you keep making the same mistakes because you refuse to see the pattern. Staying in the toxic relationship because admitting it's toxic means admitting you wasted 5 years. Refusing to acknowledge your drinking problem because sobriety sounds harder than denial. The elephant tramples you slowly, and you let it, because looking at the damage means facing yourself. Fire is anger, specifically the kind that burns everything down including you. Rage that destroys your career because you couldn't control your mouth in a meeting. Fury that ends your marriage because you said something unforgivable in a fight. Wrath that isolates you from everyone who ever cared because you'd rather be right than connected. You feel justified while the flames consume your life. Thieves are wrong views, the beliefs that rob you of agency. I'm not good enough. Nothing ever works out for me. People can't be trusted. The world is fundamentally unfair. These thoughts don't announce themselves as lies. They whisper with your own voice, stealing your hope, your clarity, your capacity to act. Demons are doubt, paralyzing uncertainty, the voice that says you're a fraud, the fear that you'll be exposed, the conviction that disaster is inevitable and your efforts are pointless, the demon that whispers, why bother until you stop trying. If you recognized yourself in more than one of these, welcome to being human. Now, I heard this story at a teaching in New York. A Tibetan nurse working in emergency medicine stood up and shared what happened one night. She was in the ambulance with a child in cardiac arrest, 7 years old, hit by a car, fading fast. The paramedics were doing everything right, but she could see it in their eyes. They were losing him, and she realized she was about to watch a child die. Again, like she had 3 times in the past year working emergency pediatrics. The doubt demon started whispering, "You chose the wrong career. You're not strong enough for this. You're going to break." She didn't have time to meditate, didn't have space to process, couldn't fall apart. So she whispered the mantra under her breath while holding the boy's hand. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. 6 times, then 12. Then she lost count. She doesn't claim Tara caused the recovery. The paramedics did their job. The hospital team did theirs. The child survived because of medical intervention. But she says the mantra kept her from drowning, gave her something to hold on to while chaos swirled around her. And when they wheeled the child into surgery, alive, stable, fighting, she went to the hospital bathroom and wept. Not because she's weak, because she's human. And humans crack around the edges when they care this much. Green light, 1 foot forward, right hand raised. Tara doesn't remove fear through philosophy. She inserts herself in that tiny gap between impulse and action, a force that interrupts the pattern before it consumes you completely. You call her name, and something shifts. The rage cools just enough for you to walk away from the fight. The doubt quiets just enough for you to take 1 step forward. The fear loosens just enough for you to keep breathing. She doesn't promise enlightenment. She promises you'll survive long enough to keep trying. And sometimes, that's all you need. Let's pull the thread all the way through. If you watched our video on Buddha's wife, you know about Yasodhara, the woman who challenged Buddhist assumptions from the inside, the wife who became an arhat and proved women could reach enlightenment. Tara challenged from the outside, no asking permission, no waiting for institutional approval, no negotiating with the monks who told her to reincarnate as male. She simply acted, and in doing so, she created a template for compassion that Buddhism desperately needed. Because the truth the tradition doesn't always admit. Buddha's path is slow, deliberate, contemplative. You sit, you observe, you detach. You gradually erode the fetters binding you to samsara until, after lifetimes of practice, you're free. Beautiful. But what do you do when the ship is sinking right now? What do you do when the bandits are coming and you don't have 8 lifetimes to achieve equanimity? What do you do when your child is sick, your mind is breaking, your world is on fire, and meditation feels like bringing a candle to a wildfire? You call Tara, and she doesn't judge you for not being enlightened yet, doesn't lecture you about accepting suffering as karma from past lives, doesn't remind you that attachment is the root of pain. She shows up, green light over the waves, 1 foot forward, right hand raised. Move, now. I'm not saying Tara replaces the Buddhist path. If you've watched our video on what is enlightenment, you know the Buddha's teachings on the 4 Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the nature of suffering. Those are foundational, essential. But Tara adds something the path sometimes forgets. Compassion isn't just about understanding suffering, it's about ending it. Fast. And today, she's having a renaissance. Western Buddhist practitioners, especially women, have embraced her as proof that Buddhism always had space for female power. Not as an afterthought, not as a concession, as a founding principle. They see in her what those ancient monks couldn't, that gender was never the point. That enlightenment wears whatever face it needs to save whoever needs saving. So here's what I want you to try. You don't have to be Buddhist to call on her. You don't have to believe she literally manifests in green light. You don't have to memorize prayers or buy statues or convert to Tibetan Buddhism. You just have to be drowning. And when you are, when the 8 fears are circling and you can't see the shore, try this. Close your eyes, picture green light, and say her name. Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe it's just your brain creating a psychological anchor, a handhold in the middle of the mental avalanche. Or maybe, just maybe, she's already moving toward you before you even finished asking. That merchant ship we started with, the one in the storm, the sailors survived. They made it to shore. And according to the legends, every single one of them built a shrine to Tara in their home. Not because they converted to Buddhist philosophy, because they knew. When death was certain and hope was gone, someone answered. A woman who didn't wait for permission to save them. Tara, Buddhism's most powerful goddess, and the protector who's been waiting for you to call her name. If you want to learn more about the women who shaped Buddhism, check out our video on Buddha's wife. If you want to understand the Mahayana tradition where Tara emerged, we've got a deep dive on the 3 schools of Buddhism. And if you're curious about how Buddhism spread peacefully across Asia, watch our video on how Buddhism conquered without violence. Hit subscribe, drop a comment about what you want to see next. And remember, when you need protection, you don't have to face it alone. Thanks for watching.